what I do is when I get to go to work, I use a U-bike to get to work,
Mm-hmm.
and you have this little yo-yo card, you have it activated for U-bike, and like you just
Mm-hmm.
scan the card, check the tires, check the shit, and you're like, okay, and you have a free bike for 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes or less. That's how I get to work. I go down this morning, I put the card on the thing, and it's not registering. So I'm like, okay, this bike's fucked up. So what you're supposed to do is put the seat down, turn it around,
Oh,
to show that
okay.
the bike is fucked up. So I check the bike next to it. My card doesn't work again, and I'm like,
I have a wonderful prank. Why not just go and do that to every single bike? That'd be hilarious.
wouldn't it?
Mm.
You would fuck some people
Kids,
over.
that's what kids would do. That's not what I would do.
Exactly. And also, like, well, after I checked the second bike, it didn't work again. I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, maybe it's my card. So I tried to turn the seat back around, and I couldn't on the
Oh,
bike that
no.
I just, yeah. So that would really fuck a lot of people over.
Oh no.
So that
Well,
people
they'd get
can't-
somebody out to fix that shit pretty quickly, probably.
Yeah, pretty quickly, meaning not in the time that I need
Not
to
the
get to
time
work
you
on
need.
time. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, shit. So like this is 8:16. It's a 20-minute ride to work. So that'd be 8:36. And I'm just like, yeah, I gotta clock in by 8:50. Now that this thing's not working, I gotta walk to the MRT, which is 10 minutes, 7-minute ride, 10-minute walk to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at being late, just because my fucking card stopped working. It's a beautiful service that Taiwan has, having these free bicycles all over the country that you can just ride, and anything over 30 minutes is 10 NT per hour. Per what is it?
I don't know. I have one. I've used them before. I have no idea. It's not much. I think
It's cheap.
it's very cheap. It's less than 10 NT.
It's 10 NT per 10 minutes or something.
I mostly use Go Share, the Go the electric scooter. That's mostly what I use.
Oh, you must have
and-
a credit card then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I use the but you use it. It's like the first 10 minutes are 20 NT, 25 NT, and then every minute after that is like 2 NT. So it usually costs me a 300 NT Uber ride will cost me 85 NT on a Go Share.
It's sick.
It's amazing.
You gotta have a license. You gotta have a credit card. You gotta be qualified to get that shit though.
Yeah.
Which I'm
you
not
need the
qualified for
driver's
any of that.
license and the credit card. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is great. And to put things in context, 30 NT is about $1 US.
Or about
Still.
300 Canadian dollars. I have no idea what the Canadian dollar is. I just know it's terrible.
Is it tanking?
It's been bad for a while.
Oh,
I
jeez.
think it's $45 to the 1,000 NT. So I think it's 45 to 1. 45 NT is 1 Canadian dollar.
Okay. That's not too far off then from the.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, like back in the States, maybe I'm just.
I mean, it's good for us. It's really good for me.
Yeah.
Except sending my money to Canada. It's great. But
Yeah, you spend
the other
way
way around,
more.
not
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Sending way more, not spending way more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like I'll speak for Alaska because that's the only place I really went. Like,
Hmm.
I brought more money than last time, but it was drained so fast. The exchange rate's the same,
Right,
but I
but the
just had
cost-
less,
Well, the cost of living is much more too because inflation. Everything's gone way up.
yeah. So in our nice little pocket over here in Taiwan, it's like, yeah, this money means the same amount here. And like, yeah, it's wonderful. You
Right.
try to bring that shit back home. It's like, dude, dinner is now like 2,000 NT for a fucking little dinner.
Yeah.
Whereas
You know,
here,
it's
it's still
way-
150.
It's way worse than that in Canada.
Oh,
My buddies
boy.
are telling me that it's just out of control now to go out for dinner. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I took somebody out for a celebration. Sorry, I'll make it quick. It's just been a while since
I know.
since I've talked with you. I brought somebody out for a celebratory dinner, and I went to a Michelin star restaurant. And we spent 8,500 for the both of us, or I spent that much. And then I did the math, and I'm like, wait, so my buddy back in Alaska spent about that much for taking 6 people out for like a regular low scale dinner.
Yep.
That's how expensive.
Yes.
Fucking Alaska is.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Alaska. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
And that was my first lesson in inflation. Here we go. That's the problem with having the window open.
Oh, that's you. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I literally thought that was me. I was like, that's just an ambulance going by.
Yeah, trying something new with the cans, but that'll be gone soon. Hey, bud,
Yeah.
we're on the internet for once.
I thought so. We thought it's been a while since we've been on the internet. Let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, we are Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben and Gao Sheng,
I'm still Tim and Tai Jung.
and we're Critters in Taiwan.
Yeah, a couple of
I
real
think.
strong critters over here.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's frustrating when they take 3 weeks off like that.
It is. It is. Especially when we're not a big fan of Candela Obscura.
Yeah, or the other stuff. Yeah, I got a thing to say about that. Because the last episode that we last 3 weeks ago, it feels like forever. Number 78, we had a little chat about how I was kind of looking forward to this one, the Candela Part 3, the Circle of Tide and Bone. Because Liam, Sam were going to be on this, and they clearly were going to be knowing those two. I'm like, they're going to go into this as buddies. Probably that was my feeling, and sure enough, they did. They absolutely full on came into it as buddies. It was fun to watch. Spoilers if you're not
new to the show.
it.
Spoilers across the board. Come
on. Spoilers across the board for everything. So Liam, and I know you haven't seen this yet, right, Tim?
I have not.
Yeah. So Liam came in as a 90-plus-year-old geriatric in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Fantastic acting job. Sam came, and he is a member. He plays a member of the of Candela Obscura, but he's supposed to have been a light keeper at this time, but he's refused. He wants to be an investigator. He doesn't want to become like a light keeper, which basically means you retire. And Sam comes in as like a goon, a thug, a muscle guy, a dude who protects people. And he comes in at the request of Liam's character. So they are very much like buddy, and they help each other out. The other cast, Ashley Birch was there, and
I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. And I was watching it, and Abria Iyengar is the GM, and I apologize if I forget the others.
Yeah.
And I was and I watched it, and I was like, this is great. I'm watching it. And I watched it through the character introductions, which took way too long. And then I watched it through the beginning of the mission, which took way too long.
Shit.
And then I watched it through to right up to the hook, where I'm like, this is what you're trying to figure out. And it was such a letdown.
How many minutes are we talking here at this point?
It was a solid hour and a half.
Okay.
And before they even got to the hook. And I'm like, I can't do this. I loved it, but it's not for me. And really, that's okay. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's totally fine. But I came to the realization that this is extreme theater RPG. Okay. That's what this is. It's acting. It's for tabletop gamers who want to flex their acting muscles. And that's basically it. The dice, this is my big problem. We've talked about this before. It's a D6 system. So it's only D6s, and then you can blow up your D6s, and you get these bleed functions if you fail, and you get these other things that if there's mechanics based on D6s, but it's basically like 50%. 3 or under is fail.
Yeah.
3 above is succeed.
That seems a little bit too teeter-tottery, you know?
It isn't compelling enough.
By the way, this means 6 in Taiwan, by the way. I'm not saying hang loose, anyway.
Or, hey, phone.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, bro, I got to go on.
So the idea of using dice in Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop games, for me, is number one, there's 7 dice. 6, whatever, 2 of them are the same, but
right.
there's all these different ways to use the dice, and you let the dice tell the story. That for me is a more compelling game, more compelling RPG.
It's more chance, right?
Right. It's more up to the universe. You don't or whatever you want to call it. It's just like the dice are gonna roll the way the dice roll. In this, it's really about the acting. It's really about the role playing, and there's nothing wrong with that because the first 2 letters of RPG are role playing, and that's totally fine. But this takes it to the extreme. This is for actors who want to act and have fun at a table, dress up in costume, play around a system that has been created for that. And I think I sort of realized that's why I don't like it, because I can't act at all. I have it's too. It's not my thing. It's too abstract for me.
It's so poetic of you.
Mm.
It's too I can't. That's interesting that you say that because like my favorite parts of Critical Role are the RP parts. You know.
And that's the other thing that I really like about Critical Role and D20 and the other ones like what's the purple worm something kill. Like watching these guys, it's the most compelling parts are the role playing. But the difference is that for me, the dice rolls are much more influential on that role playing. So it feels more improv than scripted. I know that Candela is not the CO is not scripted, but there is an element to it that feels like it is because it's the acting sort of component of it. So, yeah, that's all I want to say. I think that's the reason why I don't like it. That two reasons is it's too much acting and the dice aren't there.
Aren't as important.
They don't do anything.
But like D6s, there's like, I mean, at most 1/6 chance, of something happening. Whereas with D20s and percentage dice, there's so many more chances for something to go good or bad or whatever,
And the ability to not think of it as good and bad, but as just
going one way or the other. Yeah.
Going one way or the other. That's right. Leaning into the bad, leaning into the good. I mean, it's much easier to accept good results, but it should be the same as accepting bad results too. Another day, another topic. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I just want to say I made the realization. I'm like, this is not for me because of this.
Sure. And like, I tried watching I got through about an hour of the first episode of the first, I don't know, campaign story. I don't know what they're calling them.
Circle.
And, okay. I got through 1 hour of the first episode of the first circle. And they're all standalone episodes, right?
They're all standalone stories. The first one is a standalone. The second one is a standalone. The third one's a standalone.
Okay.
They're multiple parts of the same story. So if you don't have to watch them in order, but you have to watch the first part of each of each circle.
Okay.
Or whatever they're calling them. I don't know.
If I do, that's a big thing. But yeah, I would also like to add, like, if we have any viewers that really love Candela Obscura, all it really takes is to like have a good strong recommendation with a good solid like this is why I like it, and I would seriously consider it. If somebody watching this and hearing us say this right now, they're like, you don't get it, you should do this because it's this, I'll be like, I will absolutely listen to that and give 100%. It another shot. Absolutely.
I'm not saying that because I haven't watched enough of it yet. It's just you can't do everything. I would love to. One of my biggest wants in life right now is to take up scuba diving. I really, really, really want to. I've wanted to for years. I just don't have the time. I don't. It's a hobby I've always wanted to do, but I can't. I just don't have the time for it.
I'm terrified of it. That's probably why I should do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's probably why you should. Yeah.
Being underwater, just conquer that fear, right? I want to do skydiving. I want to do bungee jumping. Because I'm terrified of it.
Don't do bungee jumping. It's really bad for you.
For my back? I thought it might help me out.
No, it's really, 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 really bad for your back.
With skydiving, hey, no problem.
Well, it's not the diving that's the problem.
Well, you just jump out of an airplane.
It's the landing that's the problem.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I've been working.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm the type of person that reads one book at a time. I play one video game at a time. So like if I'm gonna get into Candela Obscura for any reason, I'm gonna have to be convinced. So
right.
Clearly, Ben is not going to convince me, but if one of y'all are into it, get in touch, put it in the comments, just like give a good reason for it, or DM me on Instagram or whatever. Just be like, hey, here's what I love about it, or something like that.
I mean, and I could be convinced otherwise too, because I've only watched the first one. I mean, there only is the first one out so far, but I think I think they're doing them month by month too, because they're doing them in the off weeks, right? They announced that the second one will be January 4th. So that means after the Critical Role, after the campaign 3, whatever is happening, whatever their schedule is. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get our normal 3 this time, right?
I hope so. There's a chance we won't.
Ah, come on.
Christmas, like they might. There's that. What am I looking at my calendar? We'll get one on the 14th, and
just
then
bank them now.
Yeah, I know. Because Christmas is a Monday, they must do the one right before, right? You hope so. I don't know. We'll
Bank
find
'em.
out.
Like every other
Yeah.
podcast. Bank them up.
That's right.
You know, like do them
That's
right
right.
now. We know you're
I'd also
watching
like
Critical
to.
Role.
I'd also like to take a quick little word about the Red Nose Day one.
That was great. I loved
It
it.
was so good, right? Like these watching, there were two of them that were new. They'd never the two guys, the two
Tony Hale and Sam Robinson.
right. I'm
Yeah.
terrible with names. I know who they are. I've seen their shows. Yes.
I didn't realize who they were until I started I heard their voices.
Right.
You know, and I was like, oh,
I knew exactly who they were.
I stayed tuned because of
I was
it.
like, who are these people? They're famous. I looked, oh, that's that guy and that guy from Community. Where are they
Nope.
from?
Tony Hale's from Arrested Development.
Arrested Development.
Yep. And Sam Robinson, I know him from like sketch shows and stuff in stand-up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they never played D&D, or they had very minimal experience playing D&D. And it was again the Giving Day, sort of the Red Nose Day, the whole idea of it being a one shot it's all voted for. Who was, real quick question for you, who was your favorite character? Not player, character.
Character, man, by name I wouldn't be able to name him because I only saw it once.
Who was there? Well, I only watched it once too. Who was, just off the top of your head? Who do you remember from it?
Does it have to be a player character?
I mean, no.
I mean, because it was very interesting watching Scanlan in that area. You know,
Hell yeah. That's one of I loved watching a young Scanlan before he's
level
Vox
5
Machina.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know what level they started when the show started. I think they were like 12, 13. I don't remember.
They were 7 or 8,
like
I think,
7 or 8,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Which is, it didn't seem entirely contiguous with like how much he grew in those 3 levels, you know, like when we started seeing him, because he was a cocky ass motherfucker, but he hadn't left the troop, so maybe he was like, I'm going to reinvent myself, and
that was sort of my take on it as well.
Yeah.
I loved Matt's comment at the beginning of this 79 when he's like, yeah, that was, we get to see everything that happened there was technically before campaign 1, so it's canon. And we could see those characters, or they could reprise it because they do exist, right? They are real. So
yeah. They might show up in the next season of the animated series, you know.
They could be, is possible. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Bramble, the
Which one was
pixie,
that?
the fairy barbarian.
Okay.
I've seen this
Barfarian is what
Barbarian, right? I've seen this idea before online. The idea of fairy barbarians, of pixie barbarians, tiny little, I loved it. I loved seeing it come into fruition, come into existence.
Yeah,
And Laura played it so well too.
I loved how horny she was and how unattractive she was.
Yeah,
like, or at least how they portrayed her as like supposed to be unattractive, like frizzy hair, doesn't take care of herself, but she just wants to fuck.
Yep,
and she's this tiny little fairy. That was a fun thing. I did really like how Tony Hale played his character. As a drummer. Was he a bard?
No, he was a ranger.
He was a ranger.
Yeah, he had a animal companion, a Siberian tiger.
Oh, that's right. He did have the tiger. Yeah. Which might be a nod towards Minxie.
Sure, but they don't choose, right? They're chosen for them. The online community chooses.
Right.
So everything is chosen for them, which I think is great. I like that part.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what's the word when you give money to something? Charity. Yeah. Well, it's charity and also like fan.
It was never supposed to be Sam, right? It was supposed to be Liam. And Liam couldn't do it because of obligations, so Sam stepped in with a bard. Because Liam was supposed to be. This is what I read anyway.
Wait, which Sam?
Sam Riegel.
Oh, so Sam Riegel stepped in for Liam.
Right, okay. Because Liam was supposed to play a bard, and Liam couldn't make it at the last minute or something, so Sam stepped in with Scanlan as a bard.
Right.
I don't think Scanlan was a choice. I think that was like, well, Sam's like, I just want to play. I'll play a bard. Okay, can I play a young Scanlan? Okay, done. There you go.
Yeah, it's a good move. Mm-hmm. Like, he does know how to play that character, but we're just gonna play it differently.
It would have been as soon as I realized it was young Scanlan, I was like, what happens if he dies?
Yeah. I mean, they'll have to retcon something, but
it'd be weird. You gotta wonder about that, right? You're like, there's a safety net here, maybe.
Anytime there's a prequel, it's like, all right, if something happens, then you gotta make sure it makes sense in canon nowadays, of course.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
like
like Talison's character. I love the young kid, the super awkward Bobby Socks, the
the
bastard
name's
son of
perfect.
was the bastard son of Kent Plucker.
Yeah.
The or just just a wonderful like this nerdy little kid who's the had grew who knows what the backstory of that was. It was fun.
And
I
Taliesin
like
played
that
that
show.
motherfucker really well.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was fun to see Taliesin really shining in that character.
Hmm.
Like, sorry, Kent, Mr.
Yeah.
Plucker, with his little voice, and he's what, 15
Hmm.
years old or whatever.
Yeah.
That was awesome to see
Yep.
Taliesin in that role.
Yeah, I identified a little bit with that too because I was a little bit of a well, if you want to know when I was a teenager, yeah, I was like, wow, if you when you're walking around, I'm like, well, that caterpillar actually does this, and no, it's actually this thing. The caterpillar eats those leaves, and it only does those things, and it grows to this point, blah 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 blah. Just a thousand facts a second, and people are like, will you shut up already? Like just too much. Stop it. Although I think my friends would tell me I still do that now to this day.
Yeah, I might tell you that from time to time.
Mm.
Yeah. Shit, I was gonna say one more thing. Oh, I haven't checked comments. Do we have any
Oh, I
comments?
did.
We got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had a
okay.
couple of comments. I believe I could take a quick look. We got it's been a few weeks. I just looked. We got a comment that said, "Oh man, I lost it. Where is it?
Don't delete comments, Ben.
There it is.
That was
It
quick.
is. We got a comment from uh at TP19, giving a very insightful explanation about why Ashton is the way he is. Rambles a lot because he lacks the skills to effectively process trauma and emotions. Top notch quarterback psychiatry there. Quarterback armchair. My brain just glitched.
Quarterback? I
Yeah.
never heard that term.
The armchair. My brain went to armchair quarterback, and I went to the
You watch a game today?
yeah. There was two on this morning. And then anyway, great armchair psychiatry there. And then we got somebody who at a peak in time who criticized us for dissecting episodes of Critical Role.
Oh, I mean, isn't that the show?
Yeah, I know. Hey.
Man, in the absence of one show, like we missed it. That's why we're here because we want to
Yep.
talk about that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hey, get in touch. What was her name?
At a peak in time.
A peak in time. Yeah, get in touch if you want to hear some other things. You want to hear us discuss some other things.
Yeah.
That's the discussion, man.
Mhm.
Thanks for commenting, though. Thanks for being a part.
They did comment that it's a semi-scripted show, which I will. You can go on the internets and find all kinds of reasons why it is a scripted show and why it isn't a scripted show and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. The internet is a fun place.
Isn't it? And it's just getting more fun, isn't it?
Ooh-wee. Hey, but speaking of which, tonight we're talking about episode number 79 of Campaign 3.
Yeah, quite the winded intro because we haven't talked to each other in fucking 3 weeks.
That's right. So this episode, good title, again, on the nose. To hurt is to heal.
Okay, I thought I was gonna say something more about family, something, because I always kind of try to predict because like there was a lot of family stuff going on with Fern, and then all the truths that came out at some point.
Ooh, there was some lore drops, eh?
That was the four-sided dive that we needed,
Yeah.
in the episode. We'll get there though. We'll get there.
Okay.
Sorry, so one more time the name.
To hurt is to heal.
To hurt is to heal. Okay, I don't think there was a lot of hurting though.
There was a bit of hurting.
A little bit.
FCG took a ton of damage from those thunder wasps.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
He got
lot.
Hurt, he got hurt badly, and it was so. If we're just going to jump into that, he dropped a fucking truth bomb about the likes killing because that makes his stress go away.
Yeah.
That was, and then him taking all of that damage,
Doing pain. Yeah.
the pain. I'm like, oh, this is more a nod towards him. Also, the thumbnail for the YouTube clip is Sam and Matt. So all of those things put together, I was like, oh, the hurt is to heal is probably about FCG, maybe.
Perhaps. I mean, Chet really laid out some shit.
He stripped everything down to the bone.
He broke the cast, including Matthew. Bit. You know, like Matthew knew something about it, but he was still
of course
like,
he did. But the way he said it, the way he said everything, like you can know things about people, but when they say those things, it becomes
Because
can you just out of curiosity, I could hear that ambulance. Can you hear the garbage truck?
I heard what I thought was a jingle for a moment. Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah,
you can hear. Yeah, it's the garbage truck just outside.
I couldn't tell if it was mine or yours because my window's open now.
Yep,
that one.
Beethoven's 7th or something like that, or 9th.
Yeah,
I forget which symphony it is.
Anyway. In Taiwan, that's the recycling truck, not the garbage.
The garbage truck.
Oh, it's
the garbage truck. Yeah,
the other one is
the recycling truck
is for Elise, right?
That's the Fleur de Lis. But that's a different company that does that one.
Oh shit!
There is another one. This is the government one that comes by every night or every 4 nights a week.
Yeah, I do like that they got the timing correct on those things. Do that part right there. I'm like, oh, nice touch. Anyway, we're talking about 79.
79. Hurt us to heal.
Hurt us to heal.
We should probably maybe start with some rollies.
Yeah, I suppose so. Not a whole lot of rollies points on my end, but I do have.
Listen, I got some stuff. I got a few things to say that I would like to, but
we're already halfway through our fucking podcast already. We haven't even rolled yet.
Yeah, cool.
It's fine. Wait, what? Well, I'm looking at the thing right now. Says something translated based on your browser's language, so click here. Oh, they must have changed the web page, so our little animation looks a little different to y'all. Something that happens when you live in Taiwan, eh?
Cool.
There we go. I'm gonna win a lot of these. Out. Ooh, with a 10?
I got an 18.
Oof! All right, this shit.
I didn't want to win this one.
Too bad, motherfucker.
Okay. I think I'm just going to talk about the.
I've got some four-sided dive stuff. I don't have anything to say about that.
That's fine. We can talk. You can use your points to talk about that because I don't. I got a few things to say about. But anyway, I'm just going to start.
Go ahead.
The whole entire once they got past the lore drop that was from Birdie to Fern about the Sorrow Lord Zathuda, Zapruder as Fern. I love that reference. The Zapruder. Did you catch that reference when she said Zapruder?
No, I didn't.
So the Zapruder film is was the video that showed the assassination of JFK in Dallas. And it's the only angle it's the only film that shows
back and to the left.
Yeah, exactly. So it couldn't have been the guy. It couldn't have been the lone gunman. Anyway, that whole thing. The film, it's the Zapruder film that shows that. And so I was like, as soon as she said Zapruder, I'm like, oh, Ashley's been paying attention to what's happening on the internet. Somebody's been going down some rabbit holes. Because that wasn't just a word you come up with. That's one of those words that you got to know about. Anyway, so after we got all past that stuff, we get into what very, very quickly became a home game. They went back to the style of a game that people play in their living room or at their dining room table or whatever.
Fun. So fun.
This became more about way more. And Matt's always said this is for the players, not for the audience. I don't think it's ever been as evident in Critical Role history as this episode, where this was really not for us. This was really, really, really for the cast. And it was so obvious with their expressions, right? As they're smiling and laughing and intense, like when Laura's gripping that figure so tightly that she thought she was going to break it. That doesn't happen during the regular game. This was really, really, really for them. So I think I just want to ask you what your thoughts are about the way that Matt did this with Sam.
With Sam in particular, okay.
Remember at the very beginning when Nana Mori grabs FCG and grabs him by the head and drags him off. This is all FCG's idea, and yet he doesn't know any of it.
Well, he got MIB flashed, right?
Exactly. So this is my question. how much of this do you think what? Because there was that moment, right, where he says they repeat after each other in sync: communication, trust, and honesty.
Yeah.
And Matt and Sam say that in sync, and everyone's like, "What?
How the fuck did you do this?
How did you do that?" So they clearly talked about stuff before.
Maybe, or they improvised it.
Come on now, you can't improvise that.
Honesty, I wasn't sold on. They said it kind of different. I think Matthew followed him on honesty. That's what it sounded like to me.
No,
the first
I think
two,
they were just,
the
I think
first
they were
two
slightly,
nailed it.
I think they were just slightly the through them.
I wasn't sold
I think
on
that
honesty.
Okay.
No.
I think they
First
talked about
two,
it beforehand.
nailed it.
I'm
I
wondering,
agree.
how
I
much
agree.
do you think they talked about? Do you think Sam had any idea what was going on?
This is great because this is actually one of my points too. I think that they did discuss a little bit, where like, of course,
In terms of the theme of each one.
yeah, because FCG, of course, like, it was their idea to come up with this, let's build our
These are the
friendship back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Matthew's like, okay, great. So like, what would be some like, some major things that we do? It's like, well, I guess with anything, there's communication, there's trust, there's honesty. That's any strong relationship. You have those
Right.
three things.
Right.
And Matthew's like, okay, I got it from there. That's what I think the conversation was. Because
That's a very good call. It's sort of along the same lines what I was thinking. I'm always curious about, because Sam's ability to not meta game is legendary at this table. He's probably the best at it.
I think he's the best at this table
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
And so it's even in my mind, it's debatable. Did he already know? And it's just his ability to actually disassociate himself from that and suspend all of his beliefs, and just be like, no, it's all good. I can act surprised about all of this.
Even when he's the metagaming pigeon, he's like, he never really metagames.
Most of his metagaming pigeon shit is just trolling.
Yeah.
It's not actually helpful.
It's either trolling or it's just like, we just talked about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets in trouble. He gets in trouble for that in this episode. Not as much as Liam got in trouble, but he gets in trouble for it.
Yeah, well, I guess the yes and is, I think that's how the conversation went. 'Cause either clearly they talked about it or they completely improvised that part, knowing FCG's personality. But Matthew's artistic freedom with the idea of a scavenger hunt. I mean, like right before that, right before they started the stuff, or somewhat before it, Sam was like, oh, there might be the suck and blow with the balloon. There might be this, there might be this. And then the belly, not Nanamori, was like, no.
Yeah.
I can't do the voice, but no. And they're all just like, oh, shit. Even Sam was like, oh, shit. So Sam had, I think, the three words in common with Matthew, and Matthew, I think, ran with it. That's what I think. Because
To give it sort of
version,
and
of this
I sort of feel like there was that they used those three words as an anchor for the fact that FCG did have a part in this, but Modify Memory gone.
Yeah, and to have a scavenger hunt, I don't think that would be very exciting for the viewers or necessarily the players.
I think this was way better. This was way more fun.
And when I sent you that
some
message,
aspect-
Matthew's a genius. That's what I was referring to.
Right.
Under the text.
The first one, the honesty part, was a little bit of a scavenger hunt because they were looking for the monocle. They were trying to get these pieces to get out of the chasm. So it's a little bit of a
kind of. There was no time limit as far as we know. So they're just like, oh, let's speak truths. And that's when I was like, this is the four-sided dive that we want.
I have a question about those truths. Because as soon as this honesty, well, this isn't the truth. This wasn't, the trust one, not truth. The truth one, this was honesty. Honesty, they did honesty because
we have yet to see
they
truth.
were right. They were right because honesty leads to communication, which leads to trust. That order is the right way. So the honesty
I don't
part,
think they discussed that unless they did at the break.
No, Liam talked about that. He was like, what order should we do them in? And Liam was like, I think in this relationship, we should start with honesty because that leads to communication, which then leads to trust.
Oh, I missed that.
And I agree. I agreed with that too. I was like, you don't do trust first. Trust is the last one. Honesty and communication, and you could throw them back and forth. But I think
They all go hand
honesty.
in hand, you know.
Of course they do, but I think trust is the last one. So I just have a quick point about this because I immediately thought of this and I wrote it down on my phone and I wrote it down on the paper. The idea of objective truths versus personal truths.
I love how that distinction was made.
So fucking nebulous, man. Like, why couldn't all of them? Why couldn't FCG's truth be, I am made of metal? Imogen, I have pink hair. Fern, I have hooves for feet. Those are all truths.
Yeah.
Why can't you just use all of those?
Well, nothing would grow if you said that shit.
Why not?
I'm guessing nothing would grow.
But immediately, the first thing that's the fucking semantic bastard in me.
But we haven't done truth yet.
Just say a bunch of trees are green.
We've done honesty.
That's not a very good one.
We've done honesty and communication. We haven't done truth yet.
No. The last one is trust.
Trust, yeah. No. There was honesty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Communication, and then trust.
Trust.
The first one was honesty, not truth.
Yes. Well, so honesty is telling truths.
Yeah.
That's what honesty is.
And I don't know if there was like much of a difference between like how big something was. I mean, like when Chetney laid his fucking thing down,
right?
Like flying beings came in and fucking picked them up and put them on the top of the fucking
I got weird for this one. Can I show you something?
Yeah, go ahead. Did you draw a picture?
Oh, I don't know if you can see this or not. I mean,
you can do interpretive dance. Okay, honesty challenge. Okay, there's a lot of words. I'm not going to read it all, though, but you have a lot of fucking things you've written down. Balloon mushrooms, Imogen's disappointed. Jeez.
I wrote down every truth. I wrote down every single one of...
Watch, pause.
Oh, literally, that's what it was.
Jeez.
I didn't write them down word for word.
Y'all.
I didn't write them down word for word. I wrote them all down like just sort of shorthand. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
And the last one was Chet's, that big bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was a good one too.
It was good.
The moment, just a quick shout out to how Matt trapped himself with the balloon mushrooms into the bushes. God damn, that had me in tears on Friday night. I was holding my sides. I was laughing so hard. I was crying. It was so funny because I was like, wait a minute. Is he just saying, because they started joking about the bush saved me. And I'm like, wait a minute. Those are mushrooms. And I started laughing and then they picked up on it and Matt just facepalmed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, there it is. There it is.
I love it when they do that to Matt.
Oof. So good.
It was like kind of obscure too. I had to go back and hear what they said about like a shriveled mushroom or something like that, and they started talking about like just the tip or something.
Well, the mushrooms were like the mushrooms were fading,
shriveling.
They were
or something.
descending because they were spewing out spores.
Right.
It just lends. I get what you're doing, Matt. Like you're saying that. The mechanics of this, how they need the next one to get the bushes that will make it softer for them to land into, but the phrasing was amazing.
Yeah. What did he say? God, what was the phrasing of it? He said like floral bush or something like that, which I think it was only Liam and maybe Sam that were talking about, wait, Laura's bush or something. It was something along those lines.
Yep.
It
was so good. And then when Sam's like, I'm going to steer my mushroom head into the bush, just the tip into the bush.
Yeah.
That's when Matt lost it. He's like, oh, fuck, what have I done? What did I do?
I love it when he tries to come back from it too. And he's like, and then these bones come out of the wall and you can climb them, but you have to make a check for it. He's already rosy in the cheeks, but he's like, we have to push this forward, guys. Come on. He's the uncle at the table. Come on, guys. Let's be naughty a different time.
There's a couple of these I'd like to talk about, of these honesty ones.
Okay.
That I feel like because this is what this whole episode is really supposed to be for, right? Is that they're supposed to be building things that they can actually discuss and get closer and move on with. Yeah. The big one I talked about earlier was like
to reconnect, really, after the disconnect that Ashton just did. Yeah.
Right. FCG likes killing things because it makes the stress go away.
Yeah. Now they know all kinds of shit about each other.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's a couple of funny ones, like Oren worries if Chat might be his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just silly. I guess it's kind of true.
Yeah, sure.
Imogens I felt were a little bit weak. Um,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I'm
agreed.
disappointed that Fern didn't like the shard. I don't like that Delilah is watching. I'm scared to see my mom. Fern really didn't do anything. She's like, I watch people when they sleep. That's it.
Yeah, Imogens we already knew. I mean, kind of.
Fern only did two. Fern did.
Watch
I
when you
feel like
sleep.
what we're going to do is we're all going to
Oh,
fail.
she's not
in this,
prepared.
in
Yeah,
this.
she
We're
feels
not
we're not
prepared.
prepared.
And
Yeah,
we're ill prepared. We're unprepared.
that's a
And we're
big
going to
one.
fail.
You know,
It's. I guess it's big. There's a thing that happens. I
I
think when
agree with
these.
her 100.
I think
percent
Ashley's the kind of player that just slightly panics when these things happen and everything disappears. So she probably would have had much more to say in a calmer, less stressful situation. But
Yeah.
the other one, I mean, Chet dropped that big bomb at the end. Ashton dropped a couple. He's the reason that the Hexam heist failed, and he's therefore the reason why he's broken. That was a big one that we don't. I'd like to know what that reason is.
Yeah, we got to know more about that, and hopefully it comes up. And
Hopefully it does.
when they go home after this last challenge.
Um,
Continue, please.
Orem gave an important one. He really misses Dorian, but he feels guilty. That's deep. That one caught me a little bit.
Hold on a second. Spell it out a little bit for me. He misses him, but he feels guilty.
Orem said I really miss Dorian, but I feel like I shouldn't, or I feel guilty when I do. Something along those lines.
Why would he feel guilty? I think I missed this.
Because I think that there's a little bit of maybe a slight romantic connection there.
Oh.
And that he was married, right? So there's a
his husband's dead. Go fuck Dorian.
Hey.
I didn't pick up on that at all. I just heard like he feels guilty. Why would he feel guilty about missing Dorian? Yeah. I did not pick up on that whatsoever.
I read a bit into it. I think that's what he meant by it, which is a big deal. Like that might be that gets into deeper meanings about if Orem has really moved on, or if he's ready to move on, if that's what's been holding him back this time, all this time. Those sort of ideas, right? Like I think it was a little bit of insight into who Orem is as a character and why he's so sad all the time.
Yeah, geez, and he let in with his first one. It's like, at night, I'm incredibly lonely, even when I'm bunking up with you guys. And he just left that in the air. And then he followed up with this.
One, tags along with it, yeah. So I think that might be a part of why Orem is so sad all the time.
Wow.
But he should be a happy little guy.
And my best Owen Wilson, wow. And he's also, like, when he has that little sphere, it's like, I'm going to try to talk to Dorian again.
Yeah.
He might just miss him because he has a little crush. Or like a strong crush. Fuck, they have a history. You know, like when you go to war with somebody, they become your brothers. But if you happen to be a homosexual person, they might become a little bit more, you know? Jeez.
Yeah, that's all. I picked up on a couple of those truths, objective, personal truths.
Yeah, jeez. Wow, that's rocking me right now. I didn't think about that.
Good.
Fuck.
Okay. Shall we do another rollie then?
Yeah, geez. Second rollie, 45 minutes in.
Oh, boy.
Still got that nice little message on there. 3. What?
19.
Man, Ben, how have you rigged these dice? This one usually wins.
All right.
This is my Matthew die.
God damn it! I don't know what I want to say here. Let's see. Talk a quick minute about the prizes for these, maybe. The first, so for winning the honesty challenge, they get the monocle of true essence. This is I had to look this up. So it is. They're both huge. Because as they realized right away, so far both of these ones they've got so far, the 2 out of the 3, do not need to be attuned.
Yeah.
And that's in D&D, that's really big.
That's huge. You just have it. Yeah.
Yes. The monocle is quite powerful. I think it's more powerful than the scarf.
What do you get? Advantage on something? I forgot.
I think the for this group, the monocle will be slightly more powerful. Just because they don't use those others. I'll tell you in a minute why. Yeah. So the monocle gives advantage on insight and perception checks. Now Orem already gets advantage, so he doesn't need it. You can cast detect magic once per day, see invisibility twice per day, and arcane eye once per day.
Fuck yeah,
This
that's
is
huge.
Fern to a T.
I was gonna say
needs
Fern.
this
I mean,
thing.
because Fern has plus 13 to her insight,
Exactly.
right?
And getting advantage on a plus with a plus 13 ability, it's why
It's a lie
rogues are so
detector.
powerful. Like my rogue has the same in my home game. My arcane trickster rogue has a plus 13 stealth, and I have a cloak of elven kind, which gives me advantage on
Advantage.
stealth. I never roll under 20 ever. With advantage. I'm always rolling over 20.
Yeah.
With any time you've got a huge um, bonus because you got expertise, because this is really why metagaming here, why Fern took that level, those first or second level, whatever she took in Rogue, was to get that expertise, which gives you double your proficiency on 2 different things. And she weirdly chose insight, and getting advantage on insight checks is basically impossible. Like there's nothing else that does that. That I've ever seen. So
I've never seen it.
and detect magic, that's fun. See invisibility, situational, but still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Arcane Eye for Fern has loads of fun because Arcane Eye is like a little floating eye, invisible, that you send around and it can see everything.
Right.
Amazing spell for Fern.
Here's the problem I see with it going to Fern vis-a-vis Ashley. I don't think Ashley's ever going to think to use it. It would be like Imogen being like, "Hey, Fern, don't you have that glass that you can use that you can see things from far away?"
Yep.
You know? And she'd be like, "Oh, yes, I do." I don't think she's going to think of it as a player.
Well, they make these little thing called sticky notes that you put in front of your thing, and you're like right there. Stick it on your tablet right in front of you.
I have this thing right in front of my face. I don't remember what the fuck I wrote down though.
That's fair play. And then the other one, I think was, so this is the one where
I don't
they
remember
have
the scarf. I only see that part
the
once.
scarf of intrusive intent. So there's the one that it's seemingly should be more powerful because it was a much more difficult challenge, and they actually failed it. They got 2 out of 3, but they got this second chance at the third one. This one is suggestion once per day, magic mouth twice per day, and fear once per day. Now, out of those 3, suggestion, okay, fine. It's just it's a minor spell. Magic mouth is you just leave a message in some places. It's not that exciting. Fear is pretty big, but for me, it's only these 3 things. They do have a really high DC, which is 15. For a magical item, a DC of 15 is actually pretty high. Most of these magic items have like a 12, 11, 10. or 10. Yeah, exactly. So 15 is a bit high, but I look at this and I'm like, fear maybe, magic mouth no, suggestion maybe, but
yeah, I see suggestion happening more than the other 2. More frequently.
Suggestion is the problem with suggestion is a charm effect, and a lot of fucking things are immune to charm. A lot,
especially where they're going.
Yeah,
but when they're in the city, it's just like, hey, how much for these potions? Like that kind of shit. But that's like Vox Machina kind of stuff, But in the right hands, in the right player's hands, they might remember to use that kind of thing,
totally.
every now and then.
I'm just looking up. I forget what level. Yeah, suggestion's only a 2nd level.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's not that big. It's not that big. It is concentration up to 8 hours.
I suggest you help us do this.
Yeah.
And if it works, it only lasts for like what, a minute? And then wait, no, is that?
No, it's up to 8 hours.
Okay. Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah, you can also specify conditions that will trigger the special activity during the duration. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a situation. I guess suggestion might be a little more powerful than I think it is. If you're clever about it, I'm sure the Reddits are filled with ideas about how to use suggestion better. And if you have any ideas about why I think it should be more powerful than I think it is, please comment.
Get in the comments. That's the best.
All right, but that's my thing. I just like to talk about those 2 little things. Oh, they're pretty good.
Okay, well then let me ask you this:
not being attunable, both of them not being attunable is huge.
That's huge.
Regardless.
That's ultra powerful. It's just added abilities to your character, and you can toss it around too. Yep. You just give it to somebody and be like, "Here, take this lens."
Right.
And they're just like, "Oh, now I have these abilities."
You're right. You don't even need the hour to attune to it.
Yeah. Yep. And like, if you haven't used the abilities yet, toss it to that person.
Right.
Just fucking, then they can use it too. That's fucking huge. It's like
it's a big deal.
Game Genie. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not super powerful. But
well, they only
most
of them can only be used once or twice a day, right?
Right.
Every long rest. So it's not game breaking, but it is game changing in the right situation.
Yeah, as long as you're smart about it, which they are typically. Well, then I'm gonna jump a little bit. When Allura was finally talking about, it was Laudna that asked her. She was like, "What about your adventuring days? Because we know that you had these adventuring days, like way back when." Vox Machina
Yeah.
asked her about it too. She was like, "Yes, I was also a part of a party like yours that just
Yeah.
saved the fucking world."
Yep.
And Allura says, like, she mentions that there are things that you can lose. In our case, we lost someone, not something. Do we know who they lost? Did that show up in Vox Machina? No? Okay. Because right after that, she talks about Kima and how they
Yes.
became a pair.
Yeah. The first time it's in all honesty, it's hard for me to wonder if it wasn't Kima that she was talking about.
That's what I thought too. That's why I had to
I
go
was like,
back.
but it
'Cause she
isn't
went
clear.
right into Kima.
Yeah, because it goes right in there, and I'm like, and then she's like, but then I found my little what did she call it? Little pony, little
little
horse,
lion.
little lion.
Yeah,
That's right.
not lioness.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm like, there's some phrasing there that I didn't really understand. I listened to it twice, and I'm like, still don't get it. But it sounds like they did lose somebody, and then she found Kima, and it's all good.
I mean, at one point with the beholder, Kima fell down that crevasse.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, that was
When
bad.
they went down there, she was okay, but nearly dead. I don't know if that's what she's referring
What is it?
to.
The trope is, or the meme always is, if I got 100 hit points in D&D, I'm always jumping. Because 100 hit points can pretty much survive. You have a good chance of surviving any fall.
Right. You just might be fucked up when you get down there. And also, there was a pool of water down there. Who knows how she landed?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
Paladins and their armor and their shit, man. I'd move. Gulp.
All right, you want to bang out a couple rollies real quick?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna win one of these.
Okay.
That's my Matt die with a 2.
16. I've rolled 18, 19, 16 so far.
I went 10, 3, 2. Is that what I did? Yeah. Crit roll
Okay.
stats. Get in touch.
I'm jumping right to the very end.
Okay, do it.
We're gonna watch them play Among Us this week.
On four-sided dive?
No, in the game.
Oh, you think that's what?
Yeah.
Oh. Prediction. Okay.
So
Like
you,
a tabletop
you watch
version
the very end
of
of this, right? Where he's like, I've got 5 cards for you, and 2 cards are doppelgangers. And that's basically Among Us.
That is basically Among Us. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. It's basically Among Us. I mean, it's also kind of like those other games like Werewolf or Secret Hitler or Mafia. It's like there's a lot of games that do this. But my first thing was like, well, this is Among Us. Like, one of you is a killer and the rest of you aren't, and you got to find who the killer is. So I'm like, okay, well, that's what they're going to play.
And that's where we're going to end the episode.
Yeah, right. But then I had a sudden thought. What if Nanamori, vis-a-vis Matt, is going to pull a real fun, fast one and not give them any doppelganger cards?
It sounds like something Nanamori would do. This is where Fern gets it from,
It suddenly occurred to me, I'm like, wait a minute. What if then, and they all think that 2 of them are going to be doppelgangers?
Anytime there's an
none
unknown.
of them are doppelgangers?
Yeah. Anytime there's an unknown with characters that from the Fae, they're going to fuck with you a little bit.
I'm really curious to watch their reactions. If Matt's going to deal out the cards at the table on camera, and they're all going to take the cards and and they're going to do their best to laugh and giggle and poker face, terrible poker face, bluffing, not bluffing, that whole thing that happens. But they're all just there. You're like, you are your character. And now they have to figure out who isn't, and they're all going to be, and that's the trust part.
Yeah. But how, I'm very interested to see how they do it, because how do you, is there a note on the card? It's like, well, if they say this, then you can't say this.
Yeah.
Is it taboo, or is it oh, this is a character trait that you cannot say?
Mm-hmm.
Or this doppelganger would never tell the truth or
Well,
something.
she did say that these doppelgangers have been studying you, and so they know everything about you.
Right.
And they've been watching, they've been paying attention, so they know everything.
Gotta be
They've learned a lot of stuff about from the honesty challenge.
Mm-hmm. And they've been watching this whole time too. Yeah, that's right.
Or have they been watching since they came into the Fey realm?
Well, I don't think so. Just well, I mean, Nana Mori, her favorite thing is voyeurism.
Right.
She's probably had fucking scries on these people all the time.
Probably.
You know?
She is the Fate Stitcher.
Yeah.
So
I love that distinction of the Fate Stitcher where it's like, yeah, I don't change fate. I just fuck with people.
Yeah.
Just watch them and then make that page disappear in the front of 10,000 people.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's amazing. And that's called, that gives her the title Fate Stitcher because she fucks with people. Yep. I love it.
How fucking powerful must she be, man? I was thinking about that. I'm like, this seems like this is slightly above Traveler, like Artigan level. This is a major Archfey.
Maybe above Fern's dad too,
Possibly.
Because she fought and survived.
Yeah, so maybe one, right? So it's like he won't come here. So
yeah, so she's got some leg up, So yeah, she's up there.
Okay, that's mine. I just wanted to throw that out there as a possibility, a fun little prediction.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this one out here as a yes and I have just one more rollie after this, if that's cool.
Okay.
We're already at 56 minutes, so let's throw this out.
Sure.
At 3 hours, 41 minutes, 48 seconds of the Twitch stream. Timestamp, give.
What? I'm sorry, say again. What was the time?
3 hours, 41 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Okay.
Sam gives Laura a plush.
I
don't remember the context, but it was incredibly cute is what I remember.
Yes.
What was going on there?
So
like he gives her like a physical plush.
Yep, there was the Mr. Plush. Yeah, that caught my attention too, and I realized why very quickly. So Laura, that was Laura's turn to do the operation challenge.
Yeah.
And she was character through the thing. It was at the point where she was leaning forward, and she with her other hand she kept adjusting her top because she was worried that there was going to be some
like on camera kind of cleavage.
And she was adjusting, and Sam's like, I'll just put that there, and she's like, oh, thank you.
That's
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, what good friends, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
It was funny when Sam said, we promise, cast honor, we won't fuck with you when he got the blindfolds on. And Laura's like, well, now I really don't. And Sam like, no, I really mean it. Like there was a moment there.
You never really know.
Like, yeah, well, Sam even says, like, what if we just left right now? What if we all just left Ashton here? Silly.
What an ass.
Yep.
Cool. One more quick rollie?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to win this one, dude.
12.
With a 13. Look at that.
There you go.
Finally got above 10. All right, man. This one's actually kind of deep from Four-Sided Dive.
Oh, good.
Pretty sure it's Four-Sided Dive because I don't think it was in the last episode. No, I think it was, but I don't think we got around to it. I hope I didn't mention it last episode. No, it came up in the Four-Sided Dive for me. When Gwendolyn, the child, the tiefling child of the Dorellos. When this hit hard for me when she was talking with Laudna, and then she was like, how old is this girl? She's like 10,
young,
11, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe 9 even, perhaps.
Young, yeah. Grade 4, grade 5 age.
Yes, like one of my students, kind of age, right? Because they're grade 4, so they're 9. They're becoming 10.
Yeah.
9. Let's call it 9, whatever.
Yeah.
And when she talks to her, she was like, and she got scared and she ran away. When they finally found her and talked with her through the door, she asked the question, "Why does she hate me?" Now, if I talked with one of my students, one of my grade 4 students right now, and they said something like, I think this person hates me. Now, I would be like, okay, you don't really understand what hate means. No, they're just being kind of mean because they're doing this. But what she felt was true hatred from fucking Delilah towards the DeRollo family.
100%.
So she felt hatred and she knew
100%.
what it was. That was deep for me. That was like, wow, how does this young person know what hate feels like? Or maybe she didn't know what it feels like. She's just like, that's the only word I can think of for this. That was brutal just to hear her like say like, I felt hate for the first time in my life. I'm sure that she's never felt it before.
It would be a visceral hate.
Yeah. Just
like a generational hate, right?
Yeah.
This is something that is carrying down two generations, because they killed Percy's parents and they killed Percy's siblings, and now she wants to kill the Percy's children. So this is multi-generational hatred. So this is visceral shit that kids should be sheltered from and protected from.
And the fact that she's so young and she got that, I'm just like, oof, that's going to scar her for the rest of her life. Now that she's felt like, I don't think I've ever actually felt true hatred. And I'm 40 years old. I've never hated somebody, really. And I don't think I've ever been hated.
Yeah, neither have I.
Yeah.
I've hated a couple of things, but not so much people. I've disliked people, strongly disliked people.
Yeah, sure.
But never hate. Hate is hate.
And even that's fairly uncommon.
Star Wars, man. Come on. You don't want to. I watched Star Wars when I was like a young kid. And when you watch The Emperor, yes. Feed off the hate.
Yeah.
It's, when you watch that as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, hate is bad.
That's
bad.
And even that's not as brutal as what this girl just went through in that moment, which is why she fucking took off, because like, whoa, that's
totally this was a visceral
unabated thing. Yeah.
As a yes end on that one, I don't have much to say about Four-Sided Dive, but I will talk about really quickly about how Matt being on this one was pretty important. That the fact that he did confirm a lot of the speculation that we had from the past couple of episodes.
Our past episode.
Yeah, our speculation. Yes, about why Ashton did what he did, about them not really, about Matt really genuinely not realizing that Ashton would do this, and about how Ashton thought he was going to do it, and that sort of confusion, and then about the whole challenge, about them being like, Matt going, uh-oh, what did I do? How do I do this? I didn't think this was going to happen. I'm getting ready for do I have to do this again? Like kill another one of Talison's characters. Yeah, I got to kill one of his characters, and he's going to have to rewrite it. And Taliesin himself was like, yeah, it's the first time in this campaign I've thought about my backup character.
Yeah, he said he had a backup character ready.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, yeah, because you've done this before.
Yeah, 100%. So that was a good affirmation from shit that we had already talked about.
We call it Matt formation.
The whole, a lot of that stuff that they talked about.
Just glaze over that.
It's I'm mental note on that one. I'm banking it.
Mental note, yeah.
The
I'm done.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Don't lie.
I got more in the chamber.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. No, the whole idea like of the evergreen questions. I talked to you about this. They drive me insane. Yeah, I love the Tower of Influence. The Tower of
Inquiry.
Influence. Sure. Tower of Inquiry.
Sam hates them too.
Idea.
I love
I don't like the evergreen questions. I find them banal.
I love how Sam is vocal about it on the show. He's like, I don't like evergreen. No, I'm keeping that. It's on the prompter, and he says, no, I don't want evergreen. I want questions. Yeah. So does Danny. She's over there like, Matthew, just answer the question.
Yeah, I don't like the evergreen aspect of it. It's boring.
If you could be an ice cream flavor, what would you be?
If your character could open up a restaurant, what would the franchise name be?
Nobody cares. Not even the person who asked it.
No, that's not true. That's the problem.
People do care?
Who? That's the problem. And like we love you, critters. We love you all, but stop.
I mean, the 10 to 15-year-olds care about that?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
And you don't watch the Twitch stream enough. You need to the chat thing. You need to watch chat sometimes and realize like if even a fraction of what some of these people say on the stream is true, just a small percentage of what they say, some of these people need to get outside more often.
I think it'd be a steak restaurant. I think it'd be sushi. Oh God, just keep your questions away from my entertainment.
I don't want Laudna cooking sushi from or cooking sushi. Uh, I don't I don't want Laudna preparing sushi for me. Hey, some sushi is cooked.
Some of it is braised, right?
Yep.
As
Yep.
they say. They
Hmm.
say grill in England apparently.
Yeah.
When they use a flame and braise it, they call that.
It's
Oh, we grill the top real quick.
technically braising is it's sautéing, like braising. You braise
From the
something in
bottom?
a pan from the bottom, yeah,
What?
or induction or like convection oven, but
What?
that's braising.
What am I thinking of?
Flambe or roasting.
Oh, flambe. Yeah.
Yeah, or
What
flambe
about
is more with actual
braise? Wait, did I already
no
say that?
braise, not braise. Yeah, it's where you torch it.
Yeah. With
Yeah,
a torch. Yeah.
with a
They
torch.
have the one
Yeah,
where you turn on the what's that setting when you turn it on and it's just this thing at the maximum
broiler.
broil.
Yeah, and in the restaurants they have an extreme broiler called a salamander, which is like the hottest hot of hot. It's the surface of the sun in there, and it's only the salamanders are only like this big, and it's all heat from the top. So you want to get you want to get a crust on something, pop it in there for 10 seconds and pull it out. It'll be completely caramelized.
God, I want one of those.
Yeah, they're in
Sounds expensive.
salamanders are intense. We had one at a restaurant I worked at. I was like, wow, it's an awesome tool. Super dangerous. Hey, bud, I'm done. I
Yeah,
got
me
nothing.
too. Yeah, remember when we said before we started, it's like, it's okay if we go early. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
106 now.
Yep. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay. Oh, let's see. I got nothing to promote now. We just played a show in Taipei on Saturday, and it was
Hmm.
fantastic.
That's good.
But we got nothing booked for the next. We don't
I
have anything
saw
booked.
Temple Smoke. Chad and Temple Smoke posted a bunch of pictures. It looked fucking awesome. Looked
Yeah,
like a good time.
there were two stages. The main one outside,
Hmm.
and then like the private party stage where there's like 100 people crammed in there, and
Nice.
it was just a party in there, man.
Nice.
It was great. Great performances on both stages, but
Cool.
man, that private party on the side of the temple stage was pretty amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, but no more shows in the future. So I guess basically it's just follow Ben at Ben Greenspoon on all his socials. Follow me at drummatucka. It's in the information down there.
Hmm.
If you have any comments, excellent or not so excellent, put them in the comments, man. Of course,
Comments are comments.
we're gonna read them. We're gonna respond to them. You know,
Hmm.
any questions, any bullshit, any corrections, any
Yeah.
I don't know. If you want us to discuss something on the next
Yeah.
one,
If
we
you want us to
might.
talk about something, well, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
We're happy to do that.
And in particular, really, if you are a fan of Candela Obscura and you have a compelling argument to get me into it, I'd be happy to hear it. Like I was saying before, I don't think I said on the cast, like I think I did, to actually start watching another podcast, like a new one, you need a really strong rec from somebody that you
Hmm.
trust and
Hmm.
love, right? And I have open ears. I have an open mind to Candela Obscura. It just hasn't sunk me in yet, you know. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
said it
Same.
when I
Same.
was talking about Midst because I was listening to Midst
Yes.
on the way to work and
Yes.
back, you know. And I was like, yeah, this is great, and I gave reasons for it. To hopefully other people would start watching it too. So yeah, please do that for us if you have compelling arguments for Candela Obscura for sure. Yeah, and I got nothing else to promote. So if nothing else, jeez, it's been a while. Been a while.
Wow.
Hey y'all, don't forget to love each other. And yeah, I get to finally say, is it finally Friday? Jeez, it's been
Yay.
so long. Man.
Been a while.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace, y'all.
Take care.
Love y'all.